I usually get so upset when Meg edits my poems. She's a terrible editor.
Well, I feel like if you could do this all on your own, I wouldn't be here.
Tig, Jessica, Ryan, congratulations on your Oscar nomination.
Thank you.
So who was it, like a group moment? Were you at somebody's house? Like, what was the phone call? What was the moment when you found out? I'll start with you, Jessica.
I was trying to pretend nothing was happening and making my children their school lunches.
Wow.
So we decided not to all get on the call together. Everyone just sort of did it in their respective places. But then when we got the good news, we all jumped on a quick Zoom party. Tig woke up, I think, to the news.
I decided I was not going to get up to watch, but my wife happened to wake up and she looked and she said it was one of those moments where when they said best documentary, she was doubting herself. She kept rereading it, like best documentary feature. Yeah, that's it. Come see me in the good light. Yeah, that's her movie. Tig, oh my God! And I had to take off my mask and earplugs and CPAP machine tubes coming out of my head. Oh, so that was my my big story.
And then we all jumped. I was in bed and I did watch it, but they read them very fast. So I had a similar reaction to Stephanie where I didn't react. My husband did first.
I get it.
But yeah, then our big team jumped on a Zoom, including Megan, who's in our movie. And it was a lot of tears and laughter, and I think a lot of disbelief as well.
The way this documentary came together, I feel it's like the friend Avengers, like, okay, like Captain America is down. We've got to go like do what we have to do because there's so many names involved in it. Like you're looking at the EP and it's like, these are friends, these are colleagues. And it's just like, I think willed this movie. So I'd be curious if you could talk a little bit about who was the first bat signal? How did that sort of like start? Because again, like the Avengers did show up. And Tig, I guess I'll start with you.
Well, I had been on a phone call with Steph Willen, who's one of the other producers, and Steph and I had been friends with Andrea for many years. We were trying to work on figuring out what to do with Andrea's podcast while they were dealing with health and life. And Steph said, I feel like Andrea's life would make a really great documentary right now. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Her revelation. It seemed like the most obvious thing in the world. And I got off the phone and just started calling, and these two answered.
It's a tough needle to thread. I mean, this is you go on the emotions of everything in this movie. There is hope, there is timing, and then towards the end, it's just what can we do? Which I think is like kind of heartbreaking, but also so sweet. What was that like for y'all documenting that? From what started as just a phone call, because it was not as intimate, but there's all these intimate people right around you. And Jessica, I'll start with you.
To document it was a very emotional experience. Like we can't pretend that we went in there and just came and went and did our jobs. Like as soon as we met Andrea and Meg, we fell in love with Andrea and Meg. And so we were really invested in every single step of their story, not just in the filmmaking, but in like what was going on with their lives. So we kept it intimate. We kept a small crew. We kept a consistent crew so that we could really get to know each other and be part of the family. And you also mentioned the EPs. They were all part of the broader family too. The film was independently financed by people who know and love and care about Andrea and their message. So we wanted to keep it small and intimate so that everyone was motivated to do their same thing and tell the same story, which is really an accurate representation of the joy and perspective that Andrea and Meg were sharing even in this difficult time.
And I'll switch it for you because as the director, everybody knows this, director's like therapist / big brother / also like the most dictatorial like crew manager at the same time. And then you're also doing this with someone that's dealing with how we choose to end a life moment. That's harder. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's a lot harder endeavor. How did you prepare for what you knew when you knew the journey was going to change and where you knew the journey was going with Andrea?
Well, I think I was very afraid at the beginning. I was afraid of the subject matter. I was afraid of walking into a situation where it may be invasive and maybe these people who were going through something very painful and sacred might not want strangers there. And very, very quickly, Tig and Steph knew Andrea for 20-something years. So they had spoken with Andrea, and Andrea and Megan had said, we want to do this. But very quickly, once Jess and I entered that home, we understood that these were, I call them unicorn documentary subjects. They were so cracked open from the moment we met them. Like, it didn't take the months that it often takes us in making our films to chisel away at the awkwardness or earn trust over time. Andrea and Megan had made a pact with each other before we met them that if they were going to do this, they weren't going to spend any time testing us or putting up guards or blocks. And so from the moment we started shooting, it was very, very special footage and very intimate footage. And that continued through the course of the year. So I would say all our documentaries are intimate, but this one was intimate on a completely different level.
And Tig, for you, listen, I'm sure there's other folks that have dealt with cancer that have been a part of the production of this, but I don't think they've had as public of a cancer moment as maybe you had. And I just feel like for you to be such a champion of this, that was also kind of a bit of a mind moment for you. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. How did going through this help you reflect on your own cancer journey?
I don't know if I really thought much about mine other than wanting to give Andrea the opportunity to express himself in the way I had the opportunity when I was diagnosed. I was very public, and so many people reached out saying how much it was helpful to them. And the documentary that was made about me, I'm very proud of it. But this is so different. This movie, it felt good to give Andrea and Meg this platform. I couldn't have asked for a better turnout. And turnout, is that what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever result this is, if there's any kind of divine watching, I mean, she's got to be tickled. You know what I mean?
And you know what's crazy is Jess and I met over a decade ago, coming up on 15 years probably. And we had so much fun when we worked together. And I was doing a show at Largo in Los Angeles, and she told Ryan she was sick, and she said, "You should go to the show. This girl's funny." He brings his
She didn't
friends.
say that.
She didn't say it?
No.
I just assume most people say that. But Ryan was like, "Oh, I'll get all my gay guy friends together. We'll go to this funny comedy show." And it was the night that I went out on stage and announced that I had cancer. And he was in the audience.
Largo show.
He was
That
there.
legendary night.
That is
And he
legendary.
was sitting there going, "Wait, what's happening?"
Wow. So crazy. I've listened to that audio, like, I'm going to go ahead and call myself. I've listened to that audio like a million times. I've also like watched In a World a million times. I'm not going to say that I'm a fangirl, but I'm kind of obsessed. Like, I was on a Q&A with her, and there's like all these big stars, and I'm like, I would like to talk to the funny lady. I know this Jennifer Aniston, but she's hilarious. I didn't watch Friends, sorry.
Well, my wife Stephanie is here, who I met on it.
I know. I'm like, girl, I know your lore.
But anyway, he was at my Largo show.
That is so, you were
Isn't that
lucky, man.
wild?
That is wild. But that, I think, again, if there are divine beings watching, it's like, it's there. It does, it's weird. There's so many movies like yours where there maybe have serious or sometimes sad, but there's still humor in it. There's still fun in it. And I really do love that. And considering everyone involved, that is not surprising. Today's going to be a very like celebratory day. Because like there's gonna be cool people inside. So like who you jonesing to see once you get in there? Like, let's be real. Like big up for Andrea, and like this is such a great moment. But like, who you're like, can I see them?
We just want Megan to see Leo. Because Megan has been obsessed with, she wrote a really great piece about when she saw Titanic when she was young, and she cried so much that she was asked to leave the theater. And then she related it to having seen our film, and after Andrea had passed, and she cried so much, but she was like, I mean, no one asked her to leave, obviously, but she's like, I will stay till the end, no matter what, just like I did with Titanic.
That is so, honestly, good on her. Also, she has busy things to do. I do love that she's like, I'm just gonna like hang out here today and see Leonardo DiCaprio. What about you?
Oh man, well, You took the good one. I love sentimental value. So
Yeah.
to see the actors from
Yeah,
that, especially the sister.
Yeah. Oh,
From
Inga.
Inga.
Yeah, Inga.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
I will be very excited to meet her.
So Scandinavian too. If you try to tell her that she's brilliant, she'd be like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I watched you."
Yeah. And then the directors, Paul Thomas Anderson, Ryan Coogler, Chloe Zhao, all of them. So such amazing films this year. So excited to see them all.
What about you?
I mean, obviously, I'm excited to see Meryl Streep.
She's not.
She's not here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tig doesn't know who any movie stars are. I feel like we'll be pointing people out all day.
Oh my god.
No, I already know her, Rose Byrne.
Yes.
I'm always happy to see Rose.
She's so good in that movie.
I feel like I met him years ago.
Okay, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one.
But,
You guys are going to have a blast in there.
Mainly Meryl, I guess.
Mainly Meryl. Well, here, this is an answer that everyone will have before you get out of here, because this is the first year that they have a casting award. There's clearly films that could have won Best Casting prior to this moment. Is there a film where you would like to sort of give it the Best Cast Award? And this could be in the history of film, Academy Award winner or not. You're like, this cast and the person who put it together deserves an Oscar at any movie.
I think there's an obvious choice. Steel Magnolias.
That is true.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a great
Right?
one. That is
Obvious,
such a great one.
Best casting win.
Great Southern pull. Appreciate that.
I don't have another one. I agree with that. Also from the South.
Do you have one? Got to be something with Meryl Streep now.
Well, I love Meryl, but I'm a big Deborah Winger fan. I mean, I could go with Terms of Endearment or Urban Cowboy. I'm just all in on Deborah.
Congratulations. Thank you all so much for being here. Yeah. Guys, enjoy the day.
Thank you.
Too.
Hello. Congratulations on your Oscar nomination.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you for being here. I do have to start with this because I think it's a day of celebration. This is not the first time that you've sort of been here, but it's also a sad day because your co-writer is not with you. I'd be curious if you could talk about what that's like to approach this moment without him and in such a sad circumstance.
واقعیت اینه که جدا از محتوای فیلم نیست. یعنی هر کسی که توی فیلم کار میکرد میدونست که این خطرات براش هستش. حالا مهدی نه صرفاً به دلیل اینکه در این فیلم کار کرده، بلکه به خاطر یک بیانیه‌ای بود که ما 17 نفر از سلایق مختلف با انگیزه‌های مختلف در ارتباط با اتفاقی که در کشور اون افتاده بود بیانیه‌ای نوشتیم و خب 4 نفر از این 17 نفر در زندان بودن و الان 4 نفر دیگر هم گرفتن. 8 نفر در زندانن و مهدی هم جزء اوناست و هم برای مهدی هم برای دیگر زندانیان که در این گروه بودن و کلا زندانیان سیاسی که در ایران الان به نوعی گرفتار هستن آرزو میکنم که مشکل خاصی براشون پیش نیاد.
I think your film, it just, with all your films, it always feels like it's also in a moment where it echoes what's happening with your country or predicting it in so many other ways. I'd be curious for you, since the film has come out at the Cannes Film Festival to now, what sort of conversations have you had with folks about how it relates to the current moment in your country?
من فیلمساز اجتماعی هستم. یه فیلمساز اجتماعی اصلا کارش همینه. چون در اون جامعه زندگی میکنه از اون الهام میگیره و از اون شرایطی که هست سخن میگه یا اون چی که احساس میکنه پیش بیاد. درسته این فیلم در این شرایط ساخته شده وقتی که این حاکمیت هستش، اما اون چی که برام مهم بودش این بود که در آینده چه خواهد شد یا آیا این چرخه خشونت میخواد ادامه پیدا کنه یا نه. اتفاقاتی که الان افتاده در این 1 ماه گذشته اتفاقا این فیلم سند خیلی خوبیه، سند خوبیه که مردم ایران مردم خشونت پرهیزی هستن، اما حاکمیت میخواد که همه چی رو به خشونت تبدیل کنه. یعنی اون چرا که هم میبینید اتفاق افتاده همین 1-2 روز پیش بود که خبر اومد 200 تا دانش آموز کشته شدن. این 200 تا به اسم الان مشخصن ولی بسیاری از دانش آموزها هستن که هنوز مفقود الاثرن، معلوم نیست زندانن کجا. این نشون میداد که خب با خانواده رفتن همه برای تظاهرات. پدر بوده، مادر بوده، بچه بوده، حتی بچه توی کالسکه بوده، یعنی مسالمت آمیز بوده و همونطور که در فیلم هست خشونت رو حکومت میخواد تزریق کنه به جامعه.
It's so sad, but I think it's a testament to how incredible your film is, that it shines a light on this, and not to be flippant in any way of anything you've said, but there's still comedy within it. There's still laughing within it. I mean, the premise of all of this very serious things happening on a wedding gone awry, like just the way you sort of set that up. I'm curious why, and I think it's something that's present with all your films where you, in these very dire situations, you always insert so much humor. I'm curious why that is, or if that's just your métier as a filmmaker, like it's just a part of what you do, because I've always found it to be, I'll be crying in 1 minute and then be like, this dude, like this is the craziest thing. And even the last scene of the film with that creek, it's almost a joke.
ببینید خنده و گریه توی روزمره ما هستش، هر جای دنیا که زندگی کنیم. کار فیلمساز اجتماعی اینه که به رئال برسه، به باور کردن برسه، به این برسه که حتی تماشاگر احساس کنه که با یک کار مستند روبرو هستش. حالا اگر هر کدوم از اینا رو بگیریم و خود فیلم یا هر چی دیگه، یعنی خنده رو بگیریم یا گریه رو بگیریم، من فکر میکنم که صدمه میزنه به باورپذیری، به اون رئال کار. پس من سعی کردم قصداً تا 20 دقیقه انتهایی کار ما این دوتا رو با هم داشته باشیم، خنده و گریه، خنده و به نوعی طنز رو بیشتر داشته باشیم و در اون 20 دقیقه آخر طنز رو مقدار بگیریم ازش و کاری کنیم تبدیل به یه سکوتی بشه که اونجاست شما بغضتون میگیره و بیشتر دارید فکر میکنید چه خواهد شد. این همون چیزیه که هدف ما هستش. چه خواهد شد؟ آیا این چرخه خشونت در آینده میتونه ادامه پیدا کنه یا نه؟ قطع میشه.
You're a man that enjoys cinema and you've been on this incredible journey with all these other filmmakers. I'm curious, what is a film that you've recently watched that really sort of floored you that you would recommend to other people besides your own?
بازم من میرم به گذشته و اون چی که اصلا منو تغییر داد، سلیقه سینماییمو تونست بسازه، فیلم دوچرخه دسیکا. فیلم‌های زیادی رو شاید تو زندگیم دیده باشم و میبینم، ولی هر فیلمی میبینم به نوعی مقایسه میکنم که این فیلمی که الان دیدم و دوست دارم، بیشتر دوست دارم یا هنوز همون اولیه است. دوست داشتن از تأثیر گذاشتن هم میاد دیگه و این اون تأثیری که بر من گذاشته هنوز از من جدا نشده. ولی خب همه این فیلم هایی که توی چه بخش بین الملل بوده چه فیلمنامه بوده به نوعی دیدم و واقعا از همه‌شون هم خوشم اومده.
Well, thank you again.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a great day.
Thanks.
This is rough work, gentlemen. Not just on the body. We just cut down trees that have been here for 500 years.
Gentlemen, congratulations. Oscar nominated for Train Dreams. How does it feel?
It's amazing. It's wild. Just seeing the like recognition kind of across the film in different elements, and the Best Picture nom is like it's wild.
How did you feel when you got the call? Were you here?
No, I was in Portugal. I'm from Brazil, but I live in Portugal, and I was really surprised and happy. So I cried, I screamed, I laughed all at the same time, and yeah, it's just amazing. I still can't believe it. Sometimes I wake up and check on my phone to see if it's real, and then okay, real, still there.
And had the most amazing party when he went back to Brazil, as you can imagine.
I flew the next morning to Brazil, and they were waiting for me with a big party.
They do not play about y'all.
No.
Like Brazilians do not play about other Brazilians.
No, it's like a World Cup.
I know. And this is crazy too, because this is a pretty Brazilian year too, with like Secret Agent. Have y'all like had the moment of be like,
yes, yeah, we've been hanging together, like same parties, and it's fun. It's fun to be a small part of this amazing moment Brazil is having.
Ah, I love that so much. And yeah, y'all definitely know how to party. So I hope it's a good night for everyone around there. Listen, your film, it's so beautiful and lyrical, and it does feel like a poem set on like images in a lot of ways. And that a lot of that's because there isn't a lot of words to be said. You know what I mean? Yeah. How much of that was decided like early? Because I feel like looking at a film like yours with Jockey, it's another film with not a ton of dialogue, but it says so much. Was that kind of what drew you to the project, or was that part of the book? Like, when did you decide that it was going to be so silent?
It was something we talked about early on, and we were looking towards photographs of like thinking about the shot, which I think is not something that gets talked about a lot these days, of like in terms of thinking about putting together a film, of like what is the information conveyed about a character, about the world with the shot, quote unquote. And so it was very intentional early on, and just like we've got a silent character and a quiet character who's out in nature a lot, and trying to get as much across as we could, you know, without having to over explain too much.
Adolpho, your shots, like, because there is less sound and because the score is just allowed to breathe, you're just you with these actors, or in sometimes like the American landscape. For you, that's probably like the best job for a DP, because you're like, this is my time to shine. But it could also be very intimidating.
Well, I feel like my job is, I'm always trying to doesn't matter how much dialogue the movie has, or if there's a narrator or not, my job is always trying to convey things with just the image. And I feel like even with a movie that has a ton of dialogue, I'm always trying to figure that out with the framing and the lighting. Like, okay, how can I position the camera here? How can I frame this in a way that you can feel whatever you're supposed to be feeling if there was no dialogue here? And then on this movie, suddenly there's no dialogue. So it was kind of a good exercise and fun to do it. And I feel like because of the fact that we kind of all collaborated together in the past, like not just us, but Bryce doing the score and Parker, the editor. So I knew what they were going to do with the images in a way. You know, I knew how much I could trust and how much like Bryce's score would elevate my images, and how much Parker would find ways to put random images together so they made sense. So it was a lot of fun.
I mean, you say so, but I'm like, I don't know how y'all did. Because, again, the elements and being outside and, like, so many of the things you had to do were complicated. But for you, I think one of the most complicated things would be, listen, I know that in the editing, you have to kill your darlings to a certain degree. But with the work that he did, that's, like, such bad murder. Like, you know what I mean?
It's bad. We just released a music video for the Nick Cave song that Nick Cave did with Bryce. And we went through all the footage and just pulled all of these shots that we loved, that we wanted to get in the film that couldn't get in the film. And then we're able to release them. Like, a lot of them are in that Nick Cave video. So
I was going to ask you then, that was my question, is which one of those was your most like precious darling that you had to kill, that you were like, man, I wish we could have found a place for this?
There was one that I just couldn't make work. And now the problem is, now that I see the film, I know how I could make it work.
Oh, no.
And it was his favorite shot, the one of their feet. There's just one of like, they were laying together, Joel and Felicity were laying together, and he just shot this beautiful shot of their feet kind of touching each other. When I was trying the first time with Parker, it felt like it was trying too hard as a shot, even though I loved it and he loved it. And now I'm like, oh, I know how to make it work. So I'm sorry.
It's in the music video, though.
It's in the music video.
Oh, well, maybe we'll get like a bonus line.
What's your favorite shot that didn't make it?
Yeah.
I feel like the sequence skinning the goat. I feel like I just love that. But it's such a long shot.
What is it exactly?
We're just showing their life and showing the scene of Felicity's character Gladys. She's getting their food ready. She's skinning this goat carcass. The kid's crying inside, and then Joel goes and grabs the kid, and they're kind of bickering, but then they have a sweet moment. There's chickens running around, and it was all in like one long zoom. It was great, but it's just like
5 minutes long.
We couldn't make it fit. Yeah.
You mentioned your cast, Felicity, Joel, William H. Macy. I mean, I just feel I don't know. I feel like you guys were bathed in it. And this is the first year that we're going to have a casting Oscar. Your cast definitely deserved it, but it's a hard year going up against some legends. But in the history of movies, which cast would you want to give the Oscar if there was a Best Casting Award?
There's so many films, but I think Royal Tenenbaums pops in my mind as one that like, just like perfect, but also inventive in terms of the casting.
Yeah. Ben Stiller's the sleeper one in that one. He's so good in that one.
Yeah.
Definitely City of God. I feel like the work they did on getting established actors and legends in Brazil and first-time actors, the amount of first-time actors that they had on that movie and the work that was done to make them all feel part of the same world and the same movie is just, I can't even think about anything like that.
And you guys are going to get to go inside. This is a pretty interesting class. I don't know who's here today, but like some of the folks that are nominated, like Jerry Bruckheimer, Brad Pitt, Stellan Skarsgård, Delroy Lindo, obviously everybody at Sinners, and I don't know, everyone at One Battle
Ryan
After No.
Coogler,
Little
BTA,
guy, yeah,
like-
little guy named Leonardo DiCaprio. Who are you excited to see inside?
Who are you excited to see? Darius Konji.
Oh,
Hopefully he's here.
wow,
Let's see, he's
wow,
a
yeah,
hero, so
yeah,
I'd love
wow,
to see him.
I really want to meet PTA. I
Yeah.
haven't gotten a chance to meet PTA. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys get in there and get to have a good time with it. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Good to
Thank
see
you very much.
Jacqueline, let's go. I got this. Here's the fuzz. Toot toot. Everybody run! Well, can't win them all.
Jared, Yvette, and Byron, congratulations on your Oscar nomination.
Thank you very much.
Listen, this is old hat for Pixar, but less so with being this consistent with the sequels. I think Toy Story set sort of an example of how they could be, but Zootopia was Zootopia. Who was the person who was like, yeah, we can do that again? Because that's like a hard thing to sell. So who was the one that did it?
I think both of us are gluttons for punishment. I mean, even in the first one, which we started 14 years ago, we thought it's such a rich world. It's so fun to spend time there. The characters are so dynamic. We just wanted to get back there.
Going back there, how early did you have this idea? How early did the sort of idea with the snakes, this sort of idea of where we were going to find Judy and Nick, like how early on did those sort of be the pillars of where you were going to build around?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you know, after we finished the first film, the three of us went on to Encanto. And once we finished Encanto, which was about 4 years, before the instant we were done, Jared did a little sketch and said Zootopia 2, and the 2 was a snake. It was a terrible drawing. He does not draw
I'm the
well.
worst artist in the
For an
planet.
animation studio, but no, he's working on it. But it's a great idea, and he immediately started diving into the script. And honestly, some of the stuff that he wrote the earliest stayed in as powerful anchors for the movie as it wound up.
What was it like following this up with Encanto so quickly? Was it like, okay, it's great no matter what, or did that add extra challenges? Because, I mean, that also was in a pretty deep Oscar run. So y'all put out the movie, and then it like had like a, you know...
These films do take a lot. I love that you said so quickly. It took about 5 years to make. But, you know, we wanted to go back into the world, and it's such a fun world to be in. I think, you know, when you finish a film, you're kind of like, and it goes out to the world, you hope they connect to it. And so we are always excited to jump back into the new world. And so jumping back into Dystopia with these two guys, I couldn't have asked for a better time.
Jumping back in with the same players, we see people coming back, and there was definitely those beats where people were like, oh, this feels familiar, and I love this. But the Ke Huy Quan of it all, like, I feel like if you're going to add in new ingredients, go there. When did he become the person that y'all singled on for that role? And was the snakes, like, was that like foreshadowing? I feel like this is like reverse engineering. Did y'all just forget to draw snakes and you're like, let's build some lore around it?
Yeah, we're like, wait a minute, where were those snakes?
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
No, I mean, honestly, the first film was about bias and stereotype through the lens of predator and prey.
Yeah.
Predator and prey is very clean lines for mammals only. It doesn't really work with reptiles and birds. And so we made a decision in the first film to not include reptiles from a thematic reason. As we jumped to this one, we knew reptiles existed out there somewhere. We wanted to bring them in. We knew we wanted to have a snake come in that was going to really change things. Yvette's terrified of snakes, so also it allowed us to
just wanted to torture
really torture her.
Collaborator.
But
Okay.
I, honestly, we wanted to fall in love with Gary the snake immediately. There was no one we thought of aside from Ke. Ke, we wanted, like, from the beginning, that's our number one. And we had this meeting where, like, please let him say yes to this. And he came in. It's exactly the person you see on screen, and just the kindest, I don't know, it's the sweetest person in the world. And so immediately we're off to the races.
And then, like I said, the folks coming back. I mean, you could do this with anyone, but let's specifically talk about Jason and Jenny. What changes did you notice? What things felt familiar? Because there are going to be things. They've lived lives. They're different actors than they were when y'all made the first one. So what was the biggest change, or maybe what was the most familiar between your two leads?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so much of Judy and Nick that is Jason and Ginny. Like, they were our first choices for those roles, and the fact that they said yes, just like he did, for us was amazing. And coming back was an incredible moment because we really knew that these movies have to rotate around Nick and Judy's relationship. And so to see their acting go deeper and that relationship get deeper. And with the scene that I love in the movie the most, Jared wrote very early. It's the scene on top of the weather wall where it's this huge confessional of how they feel about each other. And Jason and Ginny's performance there was so inspiring to our animators. And if you're an animator and you get something like that coming across your desk, that is like the scene of a lifetime. And I got to say, our animators really nailed it.
I dig that. And the other thing too, I think doesn't maybe get talked much about it is like you have these incredible actors and they're this great cast, but then you're doing it like over this long period of time and like there's vocal changes and all kinds of other stuff. Who was the biggest change over the 5 years of making it, if anyone?
Of all the characters, I think it's got to be a character named Paulbert, who turns out to be our twist villain. He was really tricky to crack because we wanted him to be this kind of awkward little weirdo in his family. And in early versions, when he turned and he became villainous and we realized he was the bad guy, he got very he became like a super villain, and everyone thought, wait, what happened to the little weirdo? Was it an act the whole time? And so it took us a long time to get around to the fact that when he turned and said he's a villain, he remained just as cringy and needy through that. And I think because of that, in Andy Samberg's performance, he's a really interesting character and somebody, I think we've noticed that people love him even though he's a murderer. Yeah. And so somehow we pulled it off, and I think it's really Andy's performance and our amazing animators.
I love it. You guys are going to get to go inside and meet some of your fellow nominees. Who are you excited to meet?
The whole Sinners team, because Sinners is my top movie of the year. I absolutely love it. I've seen it over and over again. So
one battle after another. I mean, it's maybe my favorite movie of the year. And across the board, like performances, just gangbusters. I really, really enjoyed it. So
Hamnet is probably my favorite.
Hamnet.
So
that's a great one.
If I can meet Chloe to say congratulations, I don't know. There's so much good stuff this year, and it's all so different.
I mean, and 3 of the most popular movies for sure. And I think 3 movies that exemplify what great it is that we're now going to get a Best Casting Oscar nomination.
Yeah, it's so good.
And you can be sure to add animation in here. If you could give a casting Oscar to any of the movies ever in existence that didn't have a chance to get it at the Academy Awards, what would be your choice for? And this could be going back to the beginning of cinema to something this year. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I have to say Zootopia 2. We have 71 speaking parts. Sorry, we have to. It's a crazy cast.
Okay, you get that one. Everybody else has to give me a different.
Yes, I got there first.
Oh, no.
You know what? I would go back to Sound of Music. It's one of the ones that I turn on all the time, and I think it's perfect casting.
Wait, which one did you say?
Sound of Music.
Oh, Sound of Music. That's a great one. I like an old one called What's Up, Doc with Barbra Streisand. And so, I mean, that's got the classic comedy casting, and that's a great generation. There's the crossover from the vaudeville comedians from the past to the more modern, and that style. There's something, I love that film. I grew up on that film.
Thank you all so very much, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
What do you wish to do, Hamlet?
I shall be one of Father's players.
Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Nina Gold, ma'am, congratulations on your Academy Award nomination.
Thank you very much.
It's a crazy moment because you're the first. You're going to set history. You and these other persons that are nominated for Best Casting are going to be the ones that everyone thinks of. What was it like for you knowing that you'd been dedicated to this for so long and you're finally going to get to be honored like the people that you cast?
It really is a total thrill and incredibly exciting and wonderful. And I can't even pretend to be cool about it. Also, it's just wonderful for the 98 years of casting directors who've been doing 98 years of incredible work, and we're here for everyone, really.
I'm so glad you said that. And I was going to save this to the end, but it's actually a question we've been asking everyone is there's been cast and casting directors that have deserved this honor. If you could go back in time and wave your magic wand to give an Academy Award to a casting director for a cast they assembled, who would you like to give it to, or which film would you like to give it to?
Maybe there isn't actually a casting director credited for All About Eve, but the cast is sensational and somebody did that.
There's nobody credited, though.
No, some anonymous person did that. The casting directors first got credited. I think the first person was Lynn Stormaster for the Thomas Crown Affair in the late 60s.
I did know that, by the way, because I was talking to Kim about this when Kim Coleman, who's the governor at the Academy Awards, who's been a huge champion and
she and our other governors have really made this happen.
They really willed it, as she would say. But I think it's one of the reasons why is not a lot of people talk about the alchemy of it. You know, I was speaking to, it's not about discovering people. It's really about knowing the formula for who is going to work with this director and this actor on this movie at this time. What are sort of your pillars when you're assembling a cast that you really try to stand by? You're smiling at me because you're like, girl, there is none. We just do it.
I was smiling because I don't think there is a formula.
Yeah.
And it would be so much easier if there were. I think really one just has to believe in one's instinct about how it's going to work and take it moment by moment, cast member by cast member, and then just try and really understand how they could all work together.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I think in your filmography, there's also similarly dozens, if not more, films of yours that could have definitely been up for this honor. It's absolutely exceptional. But with this cast, what would you say is the one where you, when you look back about your craft, you're like, this is the craft, finding this, being able to put this together? Is there a role or a moment that where you were involved in this production where you were like, yeah, this is the art behind what I do?
In the casting of Hamlet, I really feel so happy and proud of the whole family. Jessie, just complete, beautiful, grounded, connected truthfulness, and how they all then connect to each other in such... They became, the minute we put them together in the final audition for the kids with Jessie and Paul, they were a family. And it's just wonderful.
Yeah, the family is really great. And speaking of family, listen, I think you're great on your craft, but casting Noah, that one right there, I was like, oh, she was in her bag on that one. Because it was so, when he came out, everyone's like all emotional. I'm just like dying. Just tell me how that came to be.
Well, we did have some luck, but it was a great idea that we couldn't have for a while because of the, painful thing of availability. He was making another movie and we had our dates. And then by some wonderful miracle, really, really late on, to the point that we were actually kind of hair catching fire, kind of nervous, suddenly his dates worked and we could have him. And it was just incredible.
Oh my gosh. So that was like early on, you knew like, hey, this is a possibility when you cast his brother.
Once we'd cast Jacoby, we thought, wouldn't it be great to have Noah? And for a while we couldn't. And then a few things moved around and it happened with very little notice.
And then he killed it.
Then he was just wonderful. Without really even any rehearsal, he just had to leap in there and play Hamlet.
And he did an amazing job. Thanks to you and Chloe Zhao and everyone involved in it. Again, congratulations, ma'am, and thank you again.
Thank you.